under a sky heavy with mystery, where shadows stretch long across the earth and the air vibrates with something unseen, a quiet shift begins to unfold. It is not loud, it is not dramatic, yet it carries the unmistakable feeling that the world around you has tilted ever so slightly, as if inviting you to notice what most people never do. In this moment, the boundary between the ordinary and the extraordinary thins, giving way to a sense that something in your life is changing, something subtle, powerful, and undeniably real. You may not see it yet, but deep within, something ancient stirs, awakening from a long slumber. And as it rises, you begin to feel its presence in ways you cannot fully explain. There are moments in life when something inside you begins to shift, subtle signs that destiny is calling your name. The sensation appears first as a whisper, a quiet pull urging you to look beyond the surface of your everyday existence. It's that sudden awareness that you don't quite fit into the patterns you once followed, that your thoughts seem deeper than before, that the silence around you feels heavier, almost as if it's waiting for you to respond. This is not coincidence. This is not imagination. It is the first gentle ripple of destiny moving through your life. As you walk through these changes, you feel the world around you react differently. People sense something new in your presence, even if they cannot define it. Opportunities appear where previously there were none. Old parts of your life begin to fall away, not out of loss, but to make room for the person you are becoming. You start to feel a growing strength within yourself, quiet at first, like a dim glow beneath the skin, but growing brighter with each passing day. It is a strength born not from circumstance, but from purpose. This is the beginning of a transformation, one that countless heroes across time have felt in their own way, and now it is unfolding within you. These signs you're experiencing are not random, they are not mistakes. They are the early indications that you are becoming something more than what you once believed. They reveal that you are stepping into the role of the chosen one in your own story, someone marked by destiny, guided by intuition, and shaped by trials that will elevate you beyond the ordinary. Many people feel these changes without ever understanding their meaning. They dismiss the strange energy within them, the sudden clarity in their thoughts, the shift in their emotions, or the intense pull towards something greater. But if you are here, watching this, sensing the truth in each word, then your awakening has already begun. The journey you are entering is not just about power, it is about identity, purpose, and the discovery of who you were meant to be all along. So before we step deeper into the signs of transformation, before we unravel the truth behind your awakening, take a moment to acknowledge the significance of this realization. You are not here by accident. You are here because destiny chose this moment to reach you. And if you love epic self-awakening themes, don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. The first signs of transformation rarely arrive with thunder or brilliance. Instead, they emerge quietly, slipping into your life through thoughts, sensations, and subtle realizations that at first seem insignificant. Yet as the days pass, these small shifts accumulate, weaving together into a pattern you can no longer ignore. They begin deep within, in a place beyond the reach of ordinary awareness, stirring something that has been waiting for the right moment to rise. It is in the silence of your thoughts, in the stillness of your emotions, and in the dim glow of intuition that the earliest hints of destiny reveal themselves. Perhaps the first feeling is simply that you do not belong in the same way you once did. Environments that used to comfort you begin to feel tight, as though the walls have crept closer without your noticing. Conversations that once captured your interest now seem empty. People you've known for years feel strangely distant, as though you stand on a different frequency than the rest of the world. This sense of separation is not loneliness, it is evolution. It is the earliest whisper of who you're becoming, gently pulling you away from the versions of yourself that no longer fit. As this inner shift unfolds, intuition sharpens with astonishing clarity. You begin to sense things before they happen. You notice patterns others overlook. You feel the emotional undercurrents of situations long before the truth surfaces. Your instincts, once quiet and uncertain, grow stronger, almost authoritative, as if some ancient part of your consciousness has awakened from sleep and is finally speaking again. You start trusting these instincts more, not because someone told you to, but because they begin to prove themselves over and over until doubt has no ground left to stand on. Moments that once slipped past you unnoticed begin to carry weight. A stranger's expression, a change in someone's voice, a sudden shift in the atmosphere. These details stand out with unusual vividness, as if illuminated by an unseen spotlight. You catch yourself understanding intentions without explanations. You read situations not with your eyes, but with something deeper. Awareness blooms like a slow sunrise, illuminating the corners of your mind where confusion once lived. This heightened perception is the soul stretching, breathing, opening its eyes for the first time in a long while. Your thoughts change too, not rapidly but steadily, like a river carving its way through stone. The same ideas that once felt overwhelming now appear manageable, even simple. Problems that once clouded your emotions now feel small, like shadows shrinking under a growing light. Insights come to you uninvited, as if wisdom has begun pouring into you from a source you cannot see, but can undeniably feel. You notice yourself thinking in ways that surprise you, speaking truths you didn't realize you possessed, and understanding concepts that used to feel distant. This clarity is not learned, it is remembered. It is knowledge rising from somewhere deep within, reclaiming its place in your consciousness. At the same time, old patterns begin to crumble. Habits that once felt natural suddenly feel heavy, draining, or pointless. You lose interest in distractions that no longer align with your growing inner strength. Emotional cycles that used to trap you lose their grip. Even the routines that shaped your identity start to feel like echoes from a life you are slowly stepping out of. You may feel a sense of drifting, of letting go, of standing at the edge of something vast and unknown. This sensation is not instability, it is transition. Your soul is shedding layers it no longer needs, making space for what is coming. Relationships shift as well. Not always dramatically, but noticeably. You may find that the people who once shaped your world no longer influence you the same way. Conversations start to feel shallow unless they resonate with your internal growth. You may distance yourself from negativity, not out of judgment, but because your spirit instinctively recognizes when something is misaligned with the person you are becoming. Some connections fade quietly, others fall away abruptly, and though these changes can feel heavy, each one is part of a greater recalibration, a realignment of the people, energies, and influences meant to accompany you into the next phase of your awakening. As the inner shift grows stronger, you begin to sense a quiet strength rising inside you. It's not physical, nor is it driven by ego. It is a strength of presence, of knowing. You become more grounded, even in moments of uncertainty. You begin taking deeper breaths, thinking deeper thoughts, feeling deeper emotions. The world feels sharper, more real. You are no longer drifting through life half awake. You are watching, listening, absorbing, becoming. The soul prepares for awakening not through noise but through depth. Every moment of awareness pulls you further away from who you were, drawing you closer to who you are meant to become. There comes a point where you realize that these inner changes have been guiding you all along. The sense of misalignment, the sharpened intuition, the heightened awareness. Each one was a stepping stone placed precisely where you needed it. You begin to understand that the distance you feel from your old life is not loss, but guidance. It is destiny reshaping the path beneath your feet. The emotions you once suppressed now reveal truths you weren't ready to face before. Your mind, once clouded by noise, becomes a landscape of clarity and intention. And through this clarity, you begin to sense something deeper stirring beneath it all, a force waiting patiently to rise. The soul prepares for awakening in layers, first through discomfort, then through clarity, and finally through recognition. Recognition that the changes within you are not random. Recognition that your thoughts, your intuition, your shifting identity are aligning towards something larger than your current understanding. Recognition that you are stepping into a role shaped not by chance, but by destiny. As this realization settles in, the inner shift no longer feels like a disruption. It feels like a calling toward purpose, strength, and transformation, a calling toward awakening. And as you feel this calling rise within you, you may sense the faint but undeniable truth You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you were always meant to be. As the inner shift grows stronger, life around you begins to rearrange itself in ways you never expected. What once felt stable suddenly becomes uncertain. People who once felt close begin to drift away. Routines that used to comfort you now feel heavy, restrictive, or strangely out of place. And though these changes can feel overwhelming, they are not signs of failure or misfortune. They are the unmistakable beginnings of the trials of transformation. A series of challenges that rise not to punish you, but to refine you into the person you are destined to become. These trials rarely announce themselves with warning. They appear quietly at first, slipping into your life through moments of frustration, confusion, or loss. You might notice that small things begin to break down. Plans fall apart unexpectedly, conflicts arise out of nowhere, or relationships that once seemed unshakable begin to crack under invisible pressure. It can feel as though the universe is turning against you, dismantling parts of your life piece by piece. But in truth, what is breaking is not your life. It is the old version of you that cannot survive the awakening to come. As these challenges intensify, they begin to feel less like coincidences and more like tests. The timing feels too precise, the lessons too deliberate, the emotions too deep to ignore. You may feel as though you're being pushed into situations that force you to confront fears you've buried for years. Old insecurities rise to the surface, demanding to be acknowledged. Shadows from your past return, not to haunt you, but to show you what still needs healing. Decisions that once felt simple become heavy with significance, as though every choice is shaping the path ahead in ways you cannot yet see. During this stage, relationships undergo the most dramatic shifts. People who were once pillars in your life may begin to drift away. Misunderstandings arise, distance grows, and sometimes, without conflict or resentment, the connection quietly dissolves. It is one of the most painful parts of the journey, the realization that not everyone who started with you is meant to follow you into your destiny. Some relationships fall apart because they have served their purpose. Others break because they are built on foundations that can no longer support the person you are becoming. And though each loss feels sharp, it opens space for something new to enter. This is not punishment, it is cleansing. You may also find that familiar environments become increasingly uncomfortable. Places where you once felt safe now feel suffocating. The jobs, roles, or responsibilities that defined you begin to feel misaligned. You start noticing that you no longer resonate with certain conversations, habits, or lifestyles. And even when you try to cling to these familiar structures, they seem to slip through your fingers, as if refusing to hold you back any longer. This discomfort is not meant to break you, it is meant to move you. Life during this time can feel like a series of endings. Endings of routines, endings of relationships, endings of beliefs, identities, or versions of yourself you once relied on. But every ending carries within it the seed of transformation. The soil of your life must be turned before new roots can take hold. And though the process is messy, painful, and often confusing, it is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose. As the trials continue, challenges begin to echo one another, forming patterns that reveal deeper truths. You may face similar problems repeatedly, each one slightly different but carrying the same core lesson. These cycles are not signs of stagnation, they are invitations to evolve. The universe does not repeat lessons out of cruelty. It repeats them because you are close to understanding something essential, something that must be internalized before you can rise into the next phase of your awakening. There may be days when everything feels heavier than you can handle. Days when your emotions rise like storms, when your mind feels cluttered with doubts, when your heart feels stretched thin between who you were and who you are becoming. In these moments, it is easy to believe that you are breaking. But what you are experiencing is expansion. The old boundaries of your spirit are being shattered to make room for something far greater. Growth rarely feels gentle. Evolution rarely feels comfortable. Yet beneath every painful moment lies a step forward on your path. What makes these trials especially powerful is that they begin to reveal the parts of yourself you never knew existed. You discover strength hidden beneath your fear. You find resilience in your most vulnerable moments. You learn that you can endure uncertainty, loneliness, and loss, and still grow. With every challenge, you are stripped of illusions, revealing the core of who you truly are. And with each revelation, the person you were slowly dissolves, making space for the chosen one within you to emerge. As this transformation deepens, you begin to understand that these challenges do not come to destroy you, they come to shape you. They come to push you beyond your limitations, to test your courage, to expand your capacity for love, endurance, and self-awareness. They come to prepare you for the responsibility that awakening brings. For destiny does not choose the comfortable. Destiny chooses those strong enough to rise. It is during the heaviest moments that an extraordinary realization begins to form. The harder life becomes, the more it feels as though something powerful is being unlocked inside you. Each difficulty reveals a new layer of strength. Each heartbreak opens a deeper capacity for compassion. Each loss sharpens your clarity. The trials themselves become evidence that you are rising. They are not meant for everyone. They are meant for those who are being called. Only those who are transforming, those who are awakening, experience this kind of deliberate, painful, necessary purification. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the chaos around you begins to make sense. You start to see that every challenge aligned perfectly to show you something essential. Every departure cleared a path. Every loss opened a door. Every moment of despair pushed you closer to your purpose. Life was not falling apart, it was falling into place. One day, you catch a glimpse of your reflection, not in a mirror, but in your actions, your thoughts, your choices. You realize you have changed. You realize you have grown. You realize that despite everything, or perhaps because of everything, you have become stronger than you ever imagined. The trials did not break you. They carved you into something new. They refined your character, sharpened your intuition, deepened your awareness, and awakened your courage. And in that quiet moment of recognition, you understand the truth. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Prepared for awakening, prepared for purpose, prepared for destiny. After the storms of transformation, after the breaking and rebuilding, after the quiet unraveling of everything once familiar, something extraordinary begins to emerge from within. It does not appear suddenly, nor does it arrive with the same force as the trials that preceded it. Instead, it rises slowly, steadily, like dawn spreading across a once darkened horizon. The faint glow of inner power begins to make itself known, not in flashes of brilliance at first, but in subtle, profound shifts that only you can truly feel. These gentle expansions mark the beginning of the awakening of power, the moment destiny stops whispering and begins to speak clearly. The first sign of this awakening is courage. Not the kind of courage fueled by adrenaline or impulse, but the kind that is born from survival, clarity, and truth. You begin to feel it in the places where fear once lived. Situations that used to overwhelm you now seem manageable. Conversations you once avoided become opportunities to speak your truth. Decisions that once felt frightening begin to feel inevitable, almost natural. This courage is not loud, it is steady. It does not shout, it guides. It grows from everything you have endured, everything you have questioned, everything you have lost and rediscovered. And as it expands, it strengthens the foundation of who you are becoming. Alongside this courage comes a clarity so deep it feels almost otherworldly. Thoughts flow through your mind with greater ease. Insights appear without effort, rising from intuition rather than logic. Emotions make more sense. Patterns reveal themselves. You begin to see not only the world around you, but also the path ahead, as though someone has finally wiped fog from the window of your life. This clarity is a sign that your inner vision is awakening. That part of you knows where you are heading long before your conscious mind fully understands it. You recognize truth faster. You sense misalignment instantly, and you find it harder and harder to tolerate anything that dims your spirit. Emotional strength begins to grow as well. Where you once felt fragile or easily shaken, you now find yourself grounded, even in moments of uncertainty. You may still feel pain, but it no longer consumes you. You may still feel fear, but it no longer freezes you. You may still feel doubt, but it no longer defines you. Your emotions, once overwhelming forces that tossed you from one feeling to the next, begin to settle, forming a deeper, steadier current beneath your consciousness. This emotional strength is not the absence of vulnerability, it is the mastery of it. It allows you to feel deeply without drowning. It allows you to care intensely without losing yourself. It allows you to rise from every fall more quickly, more gracefully, more powerfully. At this stage of awakening, something remarkable begins to happen. Obstacles that once broke you now seem strangely easier to overcome. Situations that once triggered anxiety now feel like small ripples in the water. Conflicts that used to drain your energy lose their power over you. Even challenges that still demand effort no longer feel impossible. They feel like steps, necessary steps, expected steps. You begin to approach difficulties with a quiet confidence that surprises even you. There is a sense within you that no matter what happens, you will endure. Not because life is suddenly easier, but because you are becoming stronger than anything that once stood against you. This shift is one of the clearest indicators that power is awakening within you. The world is not changing, you are. And as you change, your relationship with obstacles, fears, and possibilities transforms. You stop resisting the path before you and begin walking it with intention. You stop waiting for things to happen and begin shaping them with your growing strength. You stop doubting your potential and begin embodying it. As this power rises, your mission begins to reveal itself. Sometimes it appears in flashes of intuition, as if a fragment of your future self is reaching back to guide you. Other times, it emerges through experiences. Certain events feel significant, certain choices feel destined, certain moments feel charged with purpose. You may not see the full picture yet, but the direction becomes clear enough to sense where you are heading. The feeling of having a purpose is not always dramatic. It can begin as a quiet understanding that there is something you are meant to do, something only you can offer, something your trials were preparing you for. It may not come as a clear mission, but as a pull toward healing, protecting, creating, leading, transforming, or awakening others. A pull toward becoming a version of yourself who is not just alive, but aligned. It might feel like a destiny shaped not by external expectations, but by the deepest truth of your existence. And in this moment, this subtle but undeniable alignment, you begin stepping into the identity of the chosen one. Not because the world crowned you, but because your soul recognized itself. You stop seeing yourself as someone who is merely surviving and begin to see yourself as someone who is rising. You stop viewing your past as a series of hardships and begin to see it as training. You stop questioning whether you are capable and start understanding that your capability was forged through every trial you have endured. Stepping into this identity is not a single moment, but a gradual shift. You begin to carry yourself differently, not with arrogance, but with certainty, not with pride, but with purpose. You move through the world with a greater sense of awareness, a deeper presence, a stronger core. People notice it. Some are drawn to it, some are intimidated by it, but you feel it most of all. The quiet, unwavering truth that you are no longer who you once were. This awakening marks the beginning of true self-realization. It is the moment when the deepest layers of your being rise to the surface, revealing strengths you never recognized, truths you never embraced, and possibilities you never imagined. It is the moment when you understand that the power within you was never outside. It was always waiting for you to become the person capable of wielding it. True self-realization is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to who you truly are beneath the fear, beneath the conditioning, beneath the expectations the world placed upon you. It is the realization that the chosen one is not a character from fiction. It is an archetype within you, a dormant identity awakening at the exact moment your life called for it. As this power continues to rise, your life begins to reflect your inner transformation. You begin making choices aligned with your purpose. You move with intention. You speak with clarity. You live with courage. Every action becomes an expression of the strength awakening within you. Every step becomes part of a larger journey. Every breath reminds you that you are walking a path shaped by destiny, not chance. And so, as you stand at the threshold of this rising power, you may feel something extraordinary, a sense of inevitability. Not the inevitability of fate controlling you, but the inevitability of becoming the person you were always meant to be. This is the true beginning, the moment when inner power meets awareness, when courage meets clarity, when purpose meets identity. This is the moment when the chosen one within you finally opens their eyes. As the journey draws to a close, the path behind you glows with the unmistakable imprint of transformation. What began as a quiet inner shift, those first subtle moments when you sensed you were no longer the person you once were, has unfolded into a profound series of trials that tested every part of your spirit. You walked through uncertainty, loss, and the unraveling of familiar things, thinking at times that life was breaking you. But now, as you look back with clearer eyes, you can see the truth. It wasn't breaking you, it was preparing you. Every challenge was shaping you. Every moment of pain was carving space for power, and every crack in your old identity was making room for the person you were always meant to become. From those early whispers of intuition to the storms that forced you to shed the weight of your past, the trials of transformation forged you into someone stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose. And then came the awakening, quiet at first, then undeniable. Courage bloomed within you, clarity sharpened your vision. Emotional strength anchored you in moments where you once would have fallen apart. The obstacles that used to overwhelm you now feel like stepping stones beneath your feet. Your purpose no longer hides in the shadows, it stands before you, illuminated by the light you awakened inside yourself. The chosen one within you has risen, not through fantasy or fiction, but through truth, struggle, and the relentless pull of destiny. Now, as you stand at the threshold of everything that awaits, a new awareness settles into your bones. These signs you've felt, these shifts you've survived, these transformations you've embodied, they are not coincidences. They are messages, reminders, invitations. They are the first steps of your transformation. And if you're feeling them, if these words resonate with something deep inside you, something you can't fully explain, then destiny is closer than you think. You are no longer drifting through life as a passenger. You are stepping into it as a force. You are no longer questioning whether you have a purpose. You are beginning to feel it pulse through everything you do. You are no longer waiting for a sign. You have become the sign. And as your power continues to rise, as your path becomes clearer, as your spirit aligns with the mission that has been calling you for so long, you begin to sense the truth that every legend eventually discovers. The story is only just beginning. Your awakening is not the final chapter, it is the opening of the greatest one. So pause for a moment. Feel the energy you've gained. Feel the strength you've reclaimed. Feel the destiny you are approaching with every breath you take. And then ask yourself the question that every hero must face as they step into the unknown. This is only the beginning. What kind of legend will you become? If you want more legendary awakening stories, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.